Emily Vance woke to the sterile chill of a hospital room, the hum of machines filling the silence. Her phone buzzed insistently on the nightstand. 14 missed calls. Not one from her father. Not one from her brother.
After emergency surgery, and they didn't even check?
A text from a friend. Hey, isn't your brother's thing tonight? Look at this. Emily opened the attachment, her fingers unsteady. A gala invitation, sent from the very hospital she lay in. The invitation congratulated Michael Vance on his promotion to the hospital board. A celebration was underway, floors above her.
A gala, while I am here alone? And the donor list?
There at the bottom, the anonymous platinum donor, E. Vance.
That's me. They're celebrating because of me.
In that cold room, Emily realized her family had erased her. But she held the pen. Emily swung her feet off the bed, wincing as the IV line pulled sharply against her skin.
I donated anonymously to avoid their spotlight. Now my gift is being used to celebrate Michael, while I recover alone.
The sting of their indifference cut deeper than the fresh incision. Her father had always prioritized her brother.
They act like I don't exist. But I am the reason that gala is even happening.
She pushed the IV pole forward, the squeaky wheels cutting through the sterile silence of the hallway. A nurse glanced up from her station, but didn't intervene. Emily's hard expression warned against it.
3 floors above. They're toasting. They forgot I was even here.
The elevator doors opened to the gala floor, golden light and muffled chatter spilling into the corridor.
You forgot me. Big mistake.
With a deep breath, Emily stepped forward, the IV pole rolling beside her toward the noise of her family's celebration. Emily's hospital slippers whispered against the linoleum as she neared the gala, the IV pole squeaking a grim counterpoint.
I remember last year's family dinner. They toasted Michael's new job. My seat was empty. They didn't notice.
A second nurse paused behind her station, hand hovering over a phone. Emily's cold, steady gaze stopped the call.
Every applause from inside feels like a door slamming shut. They've celebrated without me my whole life.
Through the doors, she could hear her father Robert's loud laughter above the clinking glasses.
He sounds so proud. Of the son who never built anything himself. And he has no idea I'm standing here.
She pressed her palm against the cold door, the vibrations of the celebration humming into her bones.
They think I'm invisible. But tonight, I'm the most visible person in this hospital.
The IV pole stood beside her like a metallic crutch, a reminder of the surgery they'd forgotten.
Okay, Dad. Let's see how you react when you find out the truth.
The golden light swallowed the stark white of her hospital gown as Emily stepped into the gala, her IV pole squeaking a defiant rhythm against the polished floor. Robert Vance's champagne glass froze halfway to his lips. His proud smile shattered, replaced by horror as he recognized the intruder.
Emily, what in the... You are supposed to be in bed. This is a private event. Leave now.
He seized her arm, his grip leaving marks, his voice a venomous whisper that only she could hear.
You are embarrassing the family. Do you want to ruin your brother's big night? Go back to your room, now.
Ruin his night. I am the one who just had surgery, Dad. But I guess I am invisible.
This is sad, Emily. Get her out of here. She's clearly confused.
Robert signaled to the nearest security guard, his finger jabbing the air as if swatting a fly.
Get her out of my sight. She's clearly disoriented and has no right to disrupt this event.
Hold on. I am David Chen, CFO. Young lady, can you tell me your name and why you are here?
My name is Emily Vance. I am a patient here, 3 floors down.
Ignore her. She's a confused family member, still groggy from anesthesia.
David's eyes narrowed. The name Vance tugged at something in his memory. A familiar donor file he'd reviewed just last week. He pulled out his tablet and discreetly scrolled through the gala's confidential donor list.
This is completely inappropriate. Security, I told you to remove her.
David's finger halted over the screen. There it was. E. Vance, anonymous platinum donor. He looked up at Emily, her hospital gown, her IV pole, and the pieces snapped together with terrifying clarity.
Emily Vance, the anonymous platinum donor. She's the one who funded this entire wing.
His whisper was swallowed by the room, but his raised hand froze the security guard mid-step.
Miss Vance, I need to ask you, are you aware of your contribution to this hospital?
Yes, I am acutely aware. I funded this wing, anonymously, but tonight, anonymity ends.
David strode to the podium, his expression grave. The microphone shrieked, silencing the room.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must make an important correction. The anonymous platinum donor is here tonight. It is Emily Vance. She funded this very wing, and she is standing among us right now.
A collective gasp swept the gala. Crystal glasses trembled on tables as heads whipped toward the door. Robert Vance's face drained to ash. The stem of his champagne glass snapped in his trembling hand. Michael stood frozen, his smug grin melting into slack-jawed disbelief.
Now they see me. Not the forgotten daughter, but the benefactor.
The donors whispered, some rising as the family's carefully constructed night crumbled in front of them. In one breath, Emily had become the most powerful person in the room, and she hadn't even moved.
This is a misunderstanding, a family squabble. She's my daughter, but she's not well.
Mr. Vance, you were moments away from having security remove your own daughter. That's not a squabble.
Emily's expression remained unreadable, her grip steady on the IV pole as if it were a scepter.
I must also inform you all, Michael Vance's promotion was contingent on board confidence, which is directly tied to this donor's continued support.
That's ridiculous. My record stands on its own.
A nervous murmur rippled through the donors. The room began to grasp the stakes. Emily held Michael's future in her hands. Emily's free hand slipped into her robe, fingers brushing against a folded envelope she had prepared hours earlier.
Emily, please. We're family. You can't do this, not here.
Family. The word tastes like ash. They forgot I existed. Now they're begging.
David stepped back from the podium, and for a long moment, the entire gala seemed to hold its breath, waiting for Emily to speak.
I woke up alone after surgery, 3 floors down. 14 missed calls. None from my family. They were here, celebrating Michael's promotion. A promotion funded by my anonymous donation. I donated to help, not to be thanked, but to be erased entirely. That I won't accept.
A chill passed through the donors. Whispered sympathies coiled like smoke.
I never intended my gift as a weapon, but tonight, I must reconsider my commitment.
Emily, stop. We're family. We can discuss this misunderstanding calmly, in private.
Calmly? You tried to have security drag me out. You lost the right to private the moment you forgot I was alive.
She's disoriented from surgery. You can't let her derail this gala.
They still think they can spin this. But my decision is already made.
As panicked murmurs rose, Emily's fingers curled around the envelope that would end it all. From within her hospital robe, Emily withdrew a crisp white envelope, its seal unbroken. She wheeled her IV pole toward the podium where David stood, the silence sharper than any applause, every eye in the room tracking her. Without a word, she placed the envelope in David's trembling hand, the weight of it seeming to stoop his shoulders.
Emily, I am begging you. This endowment has been the lifeblood of our family's reputation. You can't just take it away.
You are going to ruin us over a simple misunderstanding? I'll sue you for defamation. You vindictive.
Sue May, the woman who paid for your spotlight. Go ahead. I'd love to see the board's reaction when they learn the truth.
David's fingers broke the seal, the paper crunching like a distant verdict, each crackle echoing in the mortified silence. David read it once, then again, as if the ink itself were a poison he'd been forced to swallow. His knuckles whitened on the paper.
Done. The line is drawn. Now let them choke on it.
The room held its breath, the gala teetering on the edge of dissolution, waiting for David's voice to break the spell.
The letter reads, I, Emily Vance, withdraw my entire endowment from the hospital, effective immediately. All naming rights and honors are revoked. I sever all financial ties to this institution.
A collective gasp sucked the air from the room. Crystal shattered, a woman screamed, and the gala turned to chaos.
Consequently, the board's confidence in Michael Vance's promotion is void. His board seat is rescinded immediately.
Michael's face crumpled, his future dissolving like spilled champagne seeping into the carpet. Robert dropped to his knees, his hands clawing at the air as a guttural animal-like sound escaped his throat.
David, please. This is a mistake. Emily, stop this madness. You are ruining us all.
They never saw my worth. Now, they'll never forget my name.
The donors looked away in disgust. Some rose, some hid their faces, but all understood. The Vance name was dirt, the endowment was gone, the promotion was dead, and the Vance family, once the pride of this hospital, now stood as its greatest disgrace. Robert remained on his knees, his hands stretched toward Emily, as if she were a departing god.
Emily, I'll change. I'll be the father you deserve. Just don't leave us in ruins.
You are enjoying this, aren't you? You've always resented me. This isn't about the gala. It's pure spite.
Spite. Number. This is justice.
Donors began slipping toward the exits, their disgust palpable. The Vance name was now a contagion.
Say something. Scream, cry, gloat, anything. Your silence is worse.
Michael, stop. Emily, please. I am begging you as your father.
Emily finally parted her lips, but it wasn't for them. She looked past her family, toward the door she'd entered. The remaining donors averted their eyes. Some hid their faces, unable to watch the self-destruction. David stepped back to the podium, his face pale, but he made no move to intervene. The gala had become a requiem for a family that never deserved its blessings. After a long silence, Emily finally spoke. Her voice cut through the heavy air.
You want to know why? Let me give you the list, Dad. My 10th birthday, I was 10. You celebrated Michael's academic award. I ate cake alone in the kitchen. Every recital, every parent-teacher night. You had a work thing or Michael had a game, but never for me. When I got the career-changing internship, you called it cute. For Michael's, you threw a party. I donated anonymously to build something good, far from you, because I was never part of this family. So now I take it back.
Robert's mouth opened and closed, no words forming. His hands dropped limply to his sides. The donors exchanged appalled glances. Several shook their heads in disgust.
You didn't lose a daughter today. You never had one. I was just the invisible ATM.
The donors looked at the Vances with undisguised contempt. The gala's golden light, now harsh on their sinking faces. Emily turned her back on the broken figures of her father and brother, the IV pole squeaking as she pushed toward the exit. Robert scrambled to his feet, lunging and grabbing her arm with a desperate, clawing grip.
Emily, wait. I'll make it right. Just don't walk away like this.
She shook off his grip without a word, her jaw set like marble. David's sharp gesture sent a security guard between them. Robert tried to push past the guard, his desperation turning to animal-like panic as he clawed at the uniform.
I am begging you, Emily. I'll be the father you deserved. Please.
The father I deserved died the night I was forgotten.
She pushed through the doors, the IV poles squeak, echoing in the corridor. Behind her, Robert's sobs were swallowed by the closing door, leaving only a cold, final silence. But Robert wasn't done. He burst through the doors, his plea echoing down the sterile hall.
Emily, please. I love you. I was stressed with work, the gala. I made a terrible mistake, but I am begging you.
She stopped, but didn't turn, her knuckles white on the IV pole, her silence heavier than any scream.
You didn't forget. You never saw me.
Slowly, she turned, her eyes pinning him like a butterfly to a board, and her voice came out low and lethal.
And now, you never will.
Robert's face collapsed. He opened his mouth, but nothing came. The father who had everything now had nothing. Emily pushed on, the squeaky wheels punctuating the silence, each rotation a final nail in the coffin. Robert stood frozen, a hollow shell in the empty hallway, the echo of her wheels his only companion. The elevator doors closed behind her, severing the last thread that had choked her for 23 years. Back in her room, Emily eased onto the bed, her body heavy as the gala's echoes died above her. A nurse slipped in to check her vitals, her brow furrowed with concern.
I am fine, just tired.
The nurse nodded and left, the door clicking shut like a final punctuation mark.
It's over. I actually did it.
She stared at the ceiling, the silence thicker than any applause. The heart monitor beeped its steady rhythm, a calm counterpoint to the chaos she'd left behind. Outside, the city lights flickered, cold and indifferent. But she didn't feel alone,
I chose myself. For once, I chose myself.
and in that quiet, she finally allowed her eyes to close, the weight of 23 years lifting slowly.
David's voice cut through the chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, this gala is adjourned. I apologize for the disruption.
The donors filed out in grim silence, their gazes sliding past the Vances like they were ghosts. Robert sat collapsed at a table, his head buried in his hands, shoulders heaving with silent sobs. Michael stood motionless, champagne dripping from his forgotten glass, eyes fixed on nothing.
This is a nightmare. It has to be. She can't just destroy us like this.
The grand hall emptied, chairs overturned, the golden light now harsh on discarded napkins and shattered glass.
She's gone. My daughter is gone, and I didn't even see it coming.
A few donors cast pitying glances back, but no one stopped. The Vance name was poison. Michael stared at the stage where his promotion had been celebrated, now a monument to his fall. David stood alone by the podium, the weight of the evening settling on his shoulders like a shroud. Emily's phone buzzed again and again, rattling against the nightstand until she grabbed it. A text blazed on the screen. Emily, the gala scandal is trending. You really pulled the plug on your family?
I did, and I'd do it again.
More messages flooded in. Screenshots of news alerts, shocked emojis, whispers already becoming legend. Another friend. Girl, you're a legend. They're calling it the Vance Fall on social media.
They underestimate me. I didn't do this for spectacle or revenge. I did it for my own soul.
But she couldn't help the small smile that curled her lips as she scrolled. She typed back, I'm fine, just taking my power back. The words felt more true than anything she'd said in years. She set the phone aside, the screen still pulsing with notifications, but she didn't need to look. An email with the subject endowment withdrawn, effective immediately, sat unopened, but she already knew what it said. Emily dialed David's number, the phone shaking slightly before she steadied it. He answered on the second ring.
Emily, I was half expecting this call. Are you all right?
I am more than all right. I just need you to tell me it's done. The endowment is gone forever.
Completely. I filed the revocation 20 minutes ago. The board knows, and the gala is over.
Thank you for your honesty tonight. You could have sided with my father, but you chose the truth.
The truth was all that mattered. You deserved it, Emily. The hospital owes you more than it can repay.
A respectful silence stretched, the line carrying more than words ever could.
Goodbye, David. Take care of the place, even without my name on the wall.
Goodbye, Emily Vance. Some legacies aren't written in stone.
She hung up, the soft click sealing her departure, and a profound lightness filled her chest. She set the phone aside, the last ember of the external world dying on the screen. Her gaze drifted to the night sky, where city lights blurred into a haze, and she thought of the girl she used to be.
The girl who was invisible at every dinner table, who learned to make herself small.
The ache of neglect still throbbed beneath her ribs, but it no longer commanded her pulse.
Tonight, I stepped into a room full of people who never saw me, and I made sure they'll never forget.
She imagined a morning soon, a sun-drenched park, a coffee in hand, a smile that required no justification.
For the first time, the silence in the room isn't loneliness, it's peace.
She saw herself standing before a canvas in a gallery, no longer shrinking from the stark light of observation.
I am not the anonymous donor anymore. I am not the forgotten daughter. I am Emily Vance, and that's enough.
The name that her family had treated like a spare key finally clicked into its own lock, and it fit. She let her eyelids fall, the world dissolving into a soft darkness. A single tear slid from the corner of her eye, catching the faint amber light before drying on her cheek. Her breathing deepened, the rise and fall of her chest syncing with the quiet beep of the monitor. The IV drip continued its steady cadence, a lullaby of saline and survival.
I survived them. I survived the surgery. I survived myself.
The taut lines of her face softened, the ghost of a smile settling on her lips. Outside, the hospital hummed on, oblivious to the battle that had just been won in that small room. Her hand rested loosely on the blanket, the IV line no longer a chain but a simple thread, tying her to tomorrow. The heart monitor traced steady peaks, a quiet anthem for a woman who had finally unmade a family that never was. Emily Vance slept, and in her stillness, she was utterly, unshakably free. The gala hall sat frozen in its ruin. Overturned chairs, trampled flowers, the echo of applause now a ghostly silence. In a dark living room, Robert Vance sat alone, the dead television screen reflecting a man who had traded his daughter for a toast. Michael paced, phone pressed to his ear, his voice a frayed wire as he argued with a world that no longer wanted the Vance name. A shattered champagne glass lay on the gala floor, the golden promises now a puddle of sticky regret. Meanwhile, in a quiet room 3 floors below, Emily slept. Her breath was slow, her face smooth of the lines that had held a lifetime of hurt. The Vance legacy had been reduced to a dark room, a shattered reputation, and 2 men who never learned that blood means nothing without presence. The hospital held 2 worlds that night, one still clinging to a falling house, the other stepping into the quiet country of her own peace. Sometimes the greatest power is not in the taking, but in the walking away. Emily Vance had walked away from a ghost family, and in doing so, she had finally come home to herself. And somewhere in the silence, the universe nodded, as if to say, that was always enough. The deep quiet of the hospital room held her like a gentle, restoring tide. The IV drip continued its soft, steady rhythm, each droplet a heartbeat of survival. Outside the window, the first hint of dawn brushed the sky, pale and certain. Her face held no dreams, only the calm emptiness of a soul finally unpacked from grief. The silver pole stood sentinel beside her, a quiet witness to her victory. As the light shifted, the shadows in the room grew softer, gentler, and then the image began to dim, warm darkness creeping from the edges of the frame. That faint smile remained, the last trace of a woman who had reclaimed herself from the wreckage of neglect. The screen darkened completely, leaving only the echo of her name in the silence. And in that darkness, the story rested, whole and unbroken.